There. I wanted to talk about communicating with people, and while you're in the ascension or awakening process, and different techniques you can use, and my suggestions from my personal experiences. So, when I first started having these experiences, going through all this crazy shit, I would I didn't really have a filter. I would just kind of tell anybody and everybody about it. This included my significant others, and I wasn't always met with an open mind and heart. That's for sure. People, depending on their personal level, can take it in any one of several ways. Whether it's insecurity or just being overwhelmed by the content. You can fuck up many relationships unintentionally. So, what I would suggest to you is, do not tell anybody and everybody. Obviously, what you need to do is find like-minded people, and a good way to do that is online groups and stuff like that. There's a lot of fucking Facebook groups, and one way I pulled like-minded people to me frequency-wise was with hashtags and stuff. And that enabled me to vent a lot of this stuff to people, because you got to get it out of you. You can't just experience all these things and not really tell anybody about it. They're very extreme, as I'm sure some of you know. So here's my personal experience, namely with my interpersonal relationships, like my significant others. I've been met one of several ways by my significant others. Mostly by intimidation and just overwhelmed they were, because you got to understand, this isn't your everyday shit, man. This is really crazy stuff. Everything from psychic attacks to really huge realizations of universal content, and communication with spirits and all kinds of shit. So everybody will take it differently, but it also 100% depends on how you approach them. So I used to approach my current girlfriend, really without a filter, and I would just kind of drop the bomb on her, like, oh babe, I saw this in my meditation, or I realized this, and then she would be overwhelmed and kind of just safeguard herself from these overwhelming energies, so she would pull back and kind of just become unreceptive. And then I in turn would get offended, because I had a certain level of expectation, because it meant so much to me. And then it just caused a lot of fucking havoc. And then the spiritual experiences then became a toxic thing in our relationship, until I had a realization due to Mercury, Mr. Hermes himself, master of communication. Basically, I was able to talk to my significant other and formulate a game plan when it comes to this kind of stuff. So we then decided to, every time I would want to talk about this stuff or vent it or have something to tell her concerning this topic, I would be like, babe, I have something to tell you. And then she would automatically know that meant that it's it's crazy time or whatever the fuck. And she would become receptive. She would stop what she's doing and become totally receptive and open-minded. It doesn't necessarily mean she had to believe it. It just meant that she became receptive to it. And then I was able to tell her and then vent it, get off my chest. So, and that became very therapeutic for me. So I suggest to you, you don't need to have a bunch of interpersonal people to talk to, and you're going to come to find they're going to be far and few. You're not going to find nobody around you that is experiencing this kind of shit. You're basically going to have to go online like I did. So, there's spiritual people around you, but not everybody is the same. Even the people at the local crystal shops think that I'm fucking out there. You know what I mean? So, that's just an example of how unique some of you are. So what I suggest is finding online groups, and using the internet, because that's what it's for. We're merging into unity consciousness, and the internet is proof of that. So and then find at least one person in your immediate circle that you feel safe enough to talk to, and don't hold any of this shit in, because it can become toxic to you, like any kind of energy that is not properly vented. All right, so if you have any questions, message me, and have a beautiful day.